The war had ended only days ago, but the scars ran much deeper than blast craters and shattered ships. Humanity had survived its first interstellar conflict against the Dravari Empire, an expansionist species that believed Earth was a mere stepping stone in their campaign of conquest. Stars still burned bright, but hope flickered faintly. Commander Elizabeth Halley stood inside the secure hangar of Fort Orion, her breath fogging in the cold air. Rows of containment pods formed a metallic maze around her, each holding prisoners of war, all Dravari women. Their once regal posture now curled in hunger-weakened misery. She tightened her jaw. "Any updates?" she asked, not looking back. Lieutenant Evan Carter stepped beside her, his tablet glowing faint blue against the dim room. "Medical scans confirm it. They haven't eaten in at least a week." His voice trembled slightly. "Some longer." Elizabeth's eyes finally drifted toward the closest pod. Inside, a young Dravari woman, violet-skinned and painfully thin, stared back with hollow silver eyes. She mouthed something. It looked like food. "Please," the Dravari had been fierce and unrelenting in battle. Their soldiers wore armor that shimmered like obsidian, their fleets darkening planets before the attack even began. When rumors spread that Dravari consumed the vanquished, hatred flourished like wildfire on Earth. But after the ceasefire, humans made a discovery that shattered assumptions. The Dravari soldiers weren't monsters. They were starving, deployed into battle with rations so minimal it was torture disguised as discipline. Strength through hunger, the Dravari commanders called it. Elizabeth clenched her fists. Their commanders abandoned them, left them to die rather than surrender. Evan nodded grimly. "We can't do the same." Doctors rushed to set up a field kitchen inside the containment zone. Small drones carried steaming trays of carefully chosen nutrients, food soft enough for starved bodies to digest. At first, the Dravari women recoiled, expecting trickery, poison, mockery. They whispered together in harsh consonants. The translator AI struggled to keep up, a week without food. "Normal for soldiers. Humans will laugh at our weakness. We must not beg." But then one dared to take a cautious bite, a slice of soft bread soaked in broth. Her eyes widened as warmth spread across her gaunt face. She sobbed. The silent tears of broken pride. But gasping. Relieved cries, the kind that erupt when survival finally stops. Running others followed. Soon the hangar echoed with trembling hands clinking utensils. And choked weeping, Evan swallowed hard. "They thought we'd torture them." Elizabeth stared ahead, voice low. "Sometimes mercy is the greatest shock." Hours passed. Strength returned bit by bit. Some Dravari women stood for the first time in days. One, the same violet-skinned prisoner, approached the energy barrier separating them from their human captors. Her voice was rough, unsteady. "Human leaders. Why feed enemy?" Evan glanced to Elizabeth. She stepped forward. "War ends. People remain." The translator converted her words, causing the alien woman's silver eyes to blink in disbelief. "Dravari commanders say humans fear us. They say you hate us." Elizabeth exhaled, pain shadowing her expression. "We did hate. Maybe some still do, but we choose what happens next." The alien lowered her gaze. "We were told surrender is shame, that dying hungry is honorable." A bitter laugh escaped her cracked lips. "Honor tastes like dust." Elizabeth unlocked the barrier. Evan almost shouted, "Commander!" "That's against," but she held up a steady hand. "If we want peace," she said, "walls must fall before distrust." The barrier shimmered into nothingness. The Dravari woman flinched, expecting violence. Instead, Elizabeth gently extended a hand. "Eat, rest, heal. You're not tools. You're not disposable." Long seconds passed before thin, trembling fingers finally touched human skin, a fragile alliance born in hunger. Later that night, a thunderous alarm cut through the base. Red lights flashed. Soldiers scrambled. A Dravari strike team had returned. Not to rescue the prisoners, but to erase them. "They're targeting the POW bay." Evan shouted, grabbing his weapon. Elizabeth's eyes blazed. "They would rather slaughter survivors than let them speak." because fed prisoners could reveal the Empire's cruelty. Could destroy their authority. Not today. The battle inside the hangar was chaos. Plasma bolts across metallic shadows. Elizabeth shielded the prisoners, barking orders. Evan provided cover fire. Precise and unhesitating, but the enemy pushed closer, the violet-skinned. Dravari woman stood tall behind them, no longer a cowering hostage. She shouted in her harsh native tongue, "We are soldiers, not cattle for greedy lords." Other posts joined her, seizing fallen weapons and forming a protective line around the humans who fed them. Enemies hesitated, stunned by the defiance of their own kin. Elizabeth stepped forward, voice amplified. "Humanity doesn't abandon the alive. Fight with us, not for us." A roar answered. Mixed, unified, starved soldiers and weary humans fought as one within minutes. The strike team retreated, defeated by those they believed already dead. Silence fell again. Some humans stared in awe, others in disbelief. But none denied the truth. Food had turned enemies into allies. The violet alien approached. Elizabeth once more. "You gave us life," she said. "We will not forget." Elizabeth shook her head gently. "Not life. A chance to choose?" Evan holstered his weapon, offering a soft smile. "Maybe someday you'll teach us how to say thank you in your language?" The woman's lips curved faintly, a gesture awkward yet genuine. She touched her chest. "Kira." "Welcome, Kira," Elizabeth replied, "not as a prisoner. Not even as an alien, but as a survivor. Days later, negotiations with Dravari rebels began, peace sparked by something simpler and more powerful than politics. A warm meal shared between those who had been taught to hate. Humans had shown strength not through domination, but compassion. History would remember this turning point not for its battles, but for a moment when starving voices whispered, "A week without food," and humanity answered, "Not anymore."